Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. I know when I hear that phrase, he cares for you, I think of the miracles of God. I think when I've seen the mountains in my life that God has moved and I knew I couldn't have done it, it's only the hand of God. I think of the time I've seen a medical disease, documented disease, incurable, yet without medication, without therapy, God healed and removed it. And we think of these enormous blessings that God has bestowed upon us, and we remember he cares for you. But there's something else I think about. I remember when I was young, my family and I, we lived in the inner city, and someone stole my bicycle. And I felt so bad. My heart just dropped. I felt violated. Someone took something that was mine. Years later, my son was 4th grade, 5th grade, and he came home one day with a dejected look on his face. His head was down. I said, "Son, what happened?" He said, "Some boy took my bike." And that same feeling just hit me. I found out that not only did someone take his bike, but he watched them ride away in it, and he couldn't run and catch them. He felt that feeling not only of violation, but helplessness, nothing that he could do. Now, I knew I could go out and buy him a new bicycle. I could have done it right then, but I don't really know why I didn't do it, but I didn't. I felt for him, and my heart hurt for my son. And I prayed with him, and every day I prayed, and I said, "Lord, help me find this bicycle. I know this is not one of those big things. It's just a little thing, because I could have gotten another one. It's a small thing, but for him, Lord, it's a great thing. And if I bought him another bicycle, well, there's a feeling there that still doesn't go away." About 4 or 5 days later, about 3 or 4 miles away from our house in another neighborhood that I'd never been in, I'm driving home one day, and I just felt as though I felt familiar with a particular street, and I wanted to turn down that street. Now, I'm not saying this always happens in my life, but I do know that this time I got to that street and I saw the street, and I knew I had to go down that street, and I went there, and well, you can guess what happened. There was a young boy riding around in an orange bicycle that looked just like my son's. It had the same type seat, and it had the chain around the seat, and I pulled over and I stopped him and I said, "Whose bike is this?" And he gave a story. "It's my friend's and someone else's." Well, I called the police. They came immediately, looked at the serial numbers, and it was my son's bike. We went to his house, told his mother, the police handled it. I put the bike in the trunk of my car. I drove home. And before I got home, I called the house from my car. My wife answered the phone. I said, "Where's Vince?" She said, "He's upstairs." I said, "Put him on the phone. I want to talk to him." He got the phone, and I asked him one question. "Who's your daddy?" And he said, "Well, you are, Dad." I said, No. "Who's your daddy?" He said, "You are, Dad. Why?" I said, "Well, then, why don't you come down here in the driveway and get your bike out of my trunk?" By the time I finished that, the front door flew open and this big smile came running out. And he said, "How in the world did you ever find my bike?" This was the biggest miracle he had ever seen. I realized it was a little thing. It was a bicycle. But God blessed because he cares for us. I took that time to share with him and my wife, who was just as elated as he was and as I was. God did this. This is because God cares for us. You see, that feeling of being violated and helpless, that went away because God returned and God blessed. He blessed a simple prayer. "Lord, would you please help me with my son? Lord, you know the situation. Just help me find this, please, Lord." And he did. Casting all your cares upon him, for he careth for you. We think of the enormous blessings of God, and we're glad for it. But I can say to you confidently, I know how much God blesses me. I know how much God cares for me. He cares for me this much.